Now that I've been allowed into the country, I'm going to collect my money. I've never left the country. This is the first time.
Say hi. You look so pretty.
Guys, so how my food to my phone for Ghanaian passports. Ghanaian passports. It will humble you. Hello guys, we are traveling, so let's get ready. This is the literal definition of snatched. Because where is my waist? Where is my waist? I'm still looking for it. I am still looking for my waist.
I'm a fine babe and I'll show it off. Okay? If you have a problem with that, don't buy data.
The best things you can do for yourself as a first-time traveler is to go to the airport early. This was me when I got to the airport and I was told that I needed to make a security deposit of $300 that I had not budgeted for and I had not found anywhere in my research. And it was very frustrating because it wasted so much of my time before I was finally cleared for boarding. Imagine if I had gotten there late, I would have probably missed my flight. So always ensure that you go there early so that if there are any issues, you can settle them before you go through all the immigration checks. They check your bags and everything before you are allowed to go to the waiting area.
Say hi. Hi, Nibi. You look so pretty. What's a new streaks, baby?
My flight from Ghana to Singapore was 15-16 hours thereabout, and it wasn't a direct flight, so I was going to transit in Ethiopia for 2 hours before heading to the next flight. So on the plane, I decided to check out what they have, the movies, and I saw one of my favorite movies of all time, Gladiator. I don't know about you guys, but it was one of my favorite movies as a child, and I watched that. Now, to the food on the plane, I don't know how I feel about it. It's not like, I wouldn't say it's great or it's so good, but I wouldn't also say it was bad. It was my very first time having plain food, so I have no prior experience or nothing to compare it to. But I would say I'll give it like a 5/10. It wasn't too bad, but Ethiopian Airlines fed us. They fed us like 5 times before I got to Singapore. At some point, I was just tired because the food kept coming and coming. Anytime you open your eyes, beef or chicken. I'm like, at some point I was tired, so I skipped some of the meals. But overall, I think the food was okay. It wasn't too bad. It was manageable. It was eatable. When I was going from Ghana to Ethiopia, I had not eaten, so I was so hungry. So that food, I enjoyed it. You know, when you're hungry, everything tastes good. But subsequent ones, I really just touched a few things. I didn't eat a lot of it because I was not really enjoying it. When we got to Ethiopia, you had to wait for 2 hours. Let me just chip this in here. The best thing you can do for yourself as a first-time traveler is to read the airport signs. Check what is on your boarding pass, check what is the signs are saying. And if you are confused, just ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask for help because it's more embarrassing to get missing than to ask for help. You could ask any of the airport staff or even the people around to show you where you are going. Usually you'd have that information on your boarding pass. So after a few hours, like 1 hour, we boarded our next flight to Singapore. The time difference is very different in all these 3 countries, and it's very interesting how my phone automatically changed dates and time as soon as I landed landed in a particular spot. The way my phone moved from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. was so crazy. And guys, I'm not lying about the food, because tell me why less than an hour into the flight, they bought us food. Why? Why? Anyways, I ate what I could, and then we were in the air for so long. Guys, at some point I was like, I'm tired. Please, when are we going to get there? When are we going to get there? I kept checking my phone because I was just tired of being in the air. I fell asleep for a bit, and when I woke up, food again. This time it was breakfast. And I think I didn't even eat this. I just had the coffee and then one of the buns. I think this was spaghetti and then egg. I was like, no, at this point, I'm tired of the food. So I just had the coffee and I had some water, and I just sat there till it was time for us to land. And here we landed. I went to the bathroom because apparently Singapore is supposed to be a self-check-in country. So you just get there, you scan your passport, and you're allowed entry. But for some of us that are coming from a Ghanaian or an African country, they're usually flagged because of several reasons. So they would take you to the immigration, ask you several questions like who you are, what are you coming to do there, how do you fund the vacation, where are you going to be staying. They are going to do all this, including call all the places you're going to be staying and going to confirm that you have a booking. And after all this interview, I was finally allowed entry into the country, and then I had to go for my bags. Because of the hold up, my bags were sent somewhere else, and I spent several minutes looking for it. I thought I had lost my bags. So after I waited at the hotel lobby, I ordered my transportation before I even got into the country using an app called Grab. And so my driver was already waiting for me at the airport when I got there, because they're able to track your flights and know when you're coming. They're also going to wait for you for 1 hour before they leave if you are late. And so finally my ride came. He called me. I went to meet him, and this was the car. He was a very lovely person. I had a very lovely ride with him. Throughout my stay, I used this app called Grab for rides anytime I had to go out, and also anytime I wanted to order food, because it's a ride hailing app and a food delivery app all in one. And I wouldn't say it is the cheapest form of transportation. There are more affordable ways to commute or go to places in Singapore, like using the buses, using the trains. But I just wanted comfort, and I wanted to be able to order a ride whenever I wanted. So this was me just viewing the streets of Singapore, and it's a very lovely country. It's very, very clean, and they adhere to strict cleanliness rules. So if you want to go there, you want to take note of that. I got to my hotel. My hotel was called Citadines Ballistia, and this was it. So I just went in there. Apparently you can do a self-check-in, but I was having some challenges with the self-check-in. So I spoke to someone over there. I asked him for help, and then he showed me to go to floor sit to get assistance from the customer service. And I was finally in my room. So I'm supposed to undress and then get something to eat, take a shower, because I've been in the flight for 16 hours. I'm so tired. But I want to give you guys a story time before I forget any of the details. I have so much to say. This is my first international trip, right? International trip, as in I have never left the country. This is the first time. So as a newbie, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of nerves. I was very, very anxious, and I have a physical reaction to anxiety. So the night before, I had like very strong headache. I was taking Panadol, nothing was going, and I knew that it wasn't like I wasn't sick. It was just like I was so nervous because a lot of things can go wrong. Even though I knew I was going to a visa-free country, and a lot of things went wrong. So before we even get there, I'm going to take you guys through some of the things I got ready based on the research I did. So the research I did, I needed a yellow fever card. So if you want to travel outside the country, you need to get a yellow fever card. Some countries will also require you to do COVID test. I didn't take that along. Obviously, your passport, it shouldn't be less than 6 months validity, otherwise you'll not be allowed to enter any of the countries. And then I took a bank statement just in case. Sometimes they might ask you, especially when you're coming from Ghana or any African country, they think we are all poor, so they might ask you how are you able to fund your trip and all of that. Okay. And the next thing too is you have to book your hotel in advance and generate the booking statement, and then your flight tickets in and out. These things for a visa-free country, you should be fine. So tell me why I got to the airport, I packed my things, everything. Luckily, I went early. And that's one thing I'll tell anybody who's traveling. Make sure that you go early, because you never know what problems may arise. Because if I had not gone early, even if I had gone on time, I would have missed the flights because they delayed me for like 3 hours. Okay, so I got there, and then when I was about to check in my bags, the what do they even call them? The ladies there told me that the I flew with Ethiopian Airways. Ethiopian Airways needs to take a security deposit of $300 in case I'm not allowed into the country. Now that I've been allowed into the country, I'm going to collect my money. I asked all the questions. They said it's going to be instant. As soon as I get there, I get the money. But me, I was fighting with them because I was like, I don't know why you have this policy, and this policy cannot be found anywhere online, including your own website. If I go to Ethiopian Airways right now, or airlines, I will not find this information, and that is wrong, because most people that are going on trips, they have a budget. Okay, they have a budget of, okay, this is how much I'm going to spend on accommodation, flights, feeding for the number of days I'm going to be in the country. Sorry, I'm talking very fast. So if you do this and then you completely catch them off guard, and I had to now call my bank to try and get money. And yesterday was a holiday, so imagine like the stress, because they can't just take money from me because it's holiday, and my momo push and pull wasn't working. I was so stressed out. I'm so lucky that I'm not in my crybaby era, because I'm trying to be like a tough babe, because I would have cried. I almost cried because I was standing there, I was trying to get money. My bank is like, okay, I'm working on it. 1 hour has gone, 2 hours. Eventually we were able to pay the money, but then not without me letting them know of my displeasure. I was like, no, this is not done anyway. This is very unprofessional, because you cannot think that everybody that comes has that amount of money. So apparently for Singapore you pay $300, for South Africa you pay $150, and other countries, if it's your first time traveling there, because apparently they ban some people. And I understand it's a bit, because even I went through immigration. When other people with different passports were just doing self-checking, they called me to ask me plenty questions, because I'm coming from Ghana. Ghanaian passports. Ghanaian passports. It will humble you. It's not easy. So yeah, that's the first challenge I had, and honestly I was not happy about it, but eventually I was able to pay the money. I was able to check in, and then I went to print my bank statements, even though they did not ask me for the bank statement. So either they will ask you or not, especially if they feel like the number of days you're coming to stay and it's not really tallying. Okay, so you have to at least have it on hand, just in case they ask you how you're going to fund your trip. Number two, the trip was so long. For someone who's traveling for the first time, my first international trip, I didn't do like 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours, 16 hours. 6 hours from Ghana to Ethiopia. We did a 2-hour transit, and then Ethiopia to Singapore, 10 hours. At some point, my social battery was dead. I was like, please, like, you know what? Yeah, end the trip anyway. In my head, it was Uber. Yeah, end the trip anyway. Yeah, like, we kept going and going and going and going. Hey, imagine spending 9-10 hours in the air after spending 6 hours prior. So it's like, as I'm sitting here and talking to you guys and laughing, I'm going to finish and take a shower, get something to eat, and sleep. Today, I was planning on probably doing some night tours, evening tours. I don't know. If I don't feel for it, I'll just sleep, because I'm so tired. My very, very first trip, and I'm jet lagged. My body hurts. The food on the plane was okay. I'll come to that. But I'm just so tired. Okay. So that trip was too long for me. Manifesting internationally paid, fully sponsored trips this year. Okay. Then I got to Singapore. Hallelujah. that is not the end of it. So apparently the Singapore system is self-checking, okay, but not when you are holding a Ghanaian passport. So I got there, I tried checking in, and then system rejected me. So the one of the security guards, she was a lady, a very lovely lady, she told me to follow her. So I followed her to the immigration. And it's when the interview started. Who are you? What are you doing here? What are you coming to do here? Can we see your hotel accommodation booking? Then they call the hotel to confirm. Can we see your passport? Can we see your return flight? And also, can we see your itinerary? So you have to create an itinerary. Luckily for me, my friend told me to create an itinerary. Okay, so I created an itinerary, and for me now, I came here to create content, even though it's vacation. Me, can I rest? So I had already listed out the places I wanted to go, the content I wanted to create, like what I'm sitting here and creating right now is part of the content I wanted to create. So I did that, and yeah, so that is basically it. So create an itinerary, even if it's a simple note. Monday I'll go here, okay, or day 1 I'll go here, day 2 I'll go here, day 3 I'll go here, day 4 I'll go here, because they want to feel like you're here for a purpose, and when it's time for you to leave, you're going to leave. That is just what they want to know. So I did all that, made a number of calls, and then I took a picture, and then I did some time stuff and all that. And then about 30 minutes later, he was like, you know what, you can go in. He gave me my passport and everything back. And then I went. So I also went to get my bags. You guys, you know what I did? I think I was just stressed out, so I wasn't reading the airport signs. I went to join a transit line queue to Kuala Lumpur. And then when I got there, they threw out my perfume and then my Pepsodent. So like I went through all that again, all those checks again. So in my head I was like, hey, how many checks do we have to do to be able to get to this country? Not knowing it was a connecting flight to another country. So when I got to check in, they were like, no, you have arrived at where you're coming, so go to this place. I was like, I've made them throw out my perfume and Pepsodent for nothing. So I took it and I went back, and then I was supposed to go for my bags. So I went for my bags. I got there, my bag is missing. Hey, I'm like, God, I'm holding it in. Like, if any other mishap happens, I'm gonna cry. I promise you I'm gonna cry. I swear I'm gonna cry. I was this close to tears. So everybody had taken their bag. I'm the only one standing there. There's no bag. So I asked one of the guys at the airport, very, very handsome. And then he was like, he looked at my boarding pass, and he was like, oh, so there are some luggages at the other side, so you can go and choose. I went to check, and then the first luggage was mine, and I picked it up. At that time, I had also booked my ride. So I booked my taxi or Uber, or here they call it Grab. I downloaded the app. I booked it before I got here. So he called me, and so if you book it before, they're able to track your flight and know when to come. And when they come, they wait for you for an hour before they go. So at that point, he called me, and he came for my stuff, and then he brought me to my hotel. I also got to my hotel. There was a self-check-in down there. I was trying to self-check-in. It didn't work. So I went up, and then I got all the information, and now I'm here. Come through. Hi guys, so it's currently 6 p.m. and I'm coming to film some videos. I know I'm not supposed to be working, I'm supposed to be on vacation, but the Juma will follow you wherever you go, hopefully, because I'm so tired. Guys, hey, I have stories for days. The stress I've been through these past 2 days. This one I got you with the I know get time, I did that. That cover my face, calling me that. Biggie man, we don't be where I back that. What's it go? You are go. All the
die for nothing.